Okay, we are going to get started. Hello, and welcome to Bootcamp Prep. You guys just were here. Anyways, my name is Marco. It's nice to meet all of you. I graduated from Fullstack in 1801 cohort, so that was April in 2018. And now I'm a full-time front-end software engineer at a life insurance company called New York Life. So, fun. However, it's a good time, and it's a big step up of what I was doing before that. I was working in a warehouse, and before that, I was doing construction. So, full stack was a very big career change for me. It was a very big jump. Okay. Um, today's lecture is going to be very light. It is going to be maybe boring for some of you, but I need all of you to remember that not everybody is coming from the same background. Okay. Bootcamp prep and the actual bootcamp are kind of the same in this, whereas some people could be coming from studying computer science for their bachelor's degrees and not being able to find a job and wanting to learn other technology. So that's why they're here. Or it's people like me, right? I had absolutely no prior to computer science, and I came here and I learned everything from scratch. Okay? So be mindful of everybody. And yeah. Are there any questions for me before I get started with the lecture? You can stop me at any time. Okay.
How long helps you get a job after you graduate from bootcamp?
We'll talk about that later. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Let me shut this light. Cool. Welcome to Bootcamp Prep. So the course is going to be broken down like this. Your guys are going to have Monday through Friday, these 2 weeks, and then the third week you will end on Thursday, okay? There is another instructor. His name is Rob. He's the man, okay? He will be taking over this class with me. We usually do this in pairs, right? The schedule is a little weird. I'll be here today through Thursday. He'll be here Friday through Wednesday. Then I'll be here Thursday through Monday, and then he'll finish it off. Not that it matters, okay? Just so you guys are aware, there is another instructor. And this is how our course is going to be outlined, right? We will do one lesson a day. So today is just an introduction, and I'm just going to be talking to you guys a little bit about tidy code. Show you guys what code looks like, how it should be written, because there's a neat way to write it and a wrong way to write it. It's not a sloppy way to write it. It's a wrong way to write it, okay? So we will learn the tidy way. And tomorrow we'll talk about loops and how to debug. Coercion, truth in a scope, arrays, objects, reference, value. If you don't understand what these words are, don't worry about it. You will once we get to the lesson, okay? But this is the structure of how we will go on from here. Any questions? Yeah.
Are these slides available?
Yes. So on learn.fullstackacademy.com, I think, in the workshop, when I open the workshops, there will be like a materials tab, and you will have slides for you that you could look back later. Also, I am recording this lecture. If you want to listen to me speak again, you can listen to this as well. Or you could just mute it because my voice is terrible, and you could just look at the slides here. So whatever you guys want. Anything else? Cool. So the format. So before the beginning of each week, I will set everything that you will be doing the next week to a pre-reading, okay? That means there will be a pre-recorded lecture that will give you a little intro that you can watch on your own time, okay? I highly recommend you do that. Obviously, a lot of you have jobs, and a lot of you just don't have time, okay? Or you have a job and a family that you have to take care of, and you just don't have time, okay? That's fine. However, if you do get a second on the train anywhere, watch the pre-recorded videos. It will only help you, okay? And I don't think they're that long. It is very required that you attend the interactive lecture. This is the interactive lecture. It is happening to you right now. It is required that you are here for this, okay? It is also required that you come for the workshops, which happens directly after I'm done talking to you, okay? Workshops will be done in pairs. Okay, non-negotiable, you have to do it in pairs. That is how the bootcamp itself is laid out. I will go over that in a couple slides. Then, at the end of class, I will release solutions to the workshop questions that you guys will go through. And there will be like a written solution that you can just scan through. There will also be solution videos. Even if you're just like, yeah, scanning through the code, yeah, ooh, okay, that's where I did it wrong. I really recommend you watch the solution videos too, because the solution video might have actually a different solution than the solution that was written in front of you. But also, there's a bonus, the guy or woman, whoever, is explaining it to you as they're coding. So you get a verbal explanation as well. There's nothing left to guesswork, okay? If you don't understand something, they might say it instead of you reading it. So I highly recommend you watching that too, if time permits. It's not required. It's up to you, okay? You guys know how to manage your own time? I'll leave it at that. Any questions? This is just day to day. Cool? So, workshops. So like, you guys are going to do workshops every day. Except today, workshops, honestly, are not meant to be finished. They are hard, okay? Especially as you progress through the workshop, they get harder. And if you don't finish it, it's fine, okay? You cannot beat yourself up for thinking you're not good enough, thinking you're not smart enough, thinking you're not getting it fast enough. It's fine, okay? Other people are in the same boat. Some people might get it quickly. Some people might do it faster than you, but it's fine, okay? This is very new thing. These are very new things, very new topics. So we designed them to be a little harder, okay? So don't discourage yourself. Each workshop, you will randomly be paired with a different partner or small team for each workshop. Odd numbers, some of you might be working in threes, which is fine, don't worry about it, okay? And instructors and fellows are available via the help desk. So I am one person. If you have a question and I'm helping you, and then 15 other people have a question, I can't get to everybody, right? So we actually have other people working here, and they will help you if you guys have questions. But they're not in the room. They're scattered around this building. So just remember, there's a blue question mark on your screen on learn.fullstackacademy.com. You click it, you type in where you're sitting. There's numbers on the desks. You type in where you're sitting and say, hey, I need a question with this. Please help me. And then someone will come. Someone will answer you, okay? Don't worry. Everything will be fine, okay? For those of you who walked in a little late, Wi-Fi password is always be coding, capital A, capital B, capital C. So, okay, so on LearnDot, you should definitely upload a picture if you want to. I mean, I'm not going to force you to do anything. I'm not the boss of it. You can do whatever you want. But honestly, like, upload a picture so that when somebody comes to find you and help you, they know who to look for. That is the only reason I'm asking you to do that, okay? So, pair programming. Pair programming is the reason why we make you guys do these workshops in pairs. Pair programming is very, very helpful, okay? It's essentially two programmers that share the same computer. And they work collaboratively on all aspects of software development. So there's two people, right? So one person would be the driver. The driver is the person that's typing. And then the navigator is the person next to them, and the navigator's responsibility is to tell the driver what exactly to type. Not letter for letter, not symbol for symbol, but like what to write. And the driver needs to understand what they're saying and then do exactly what they're saying. So it's like kind of like a give and take. It's it might sound silly, but it's actually very difficult to explain your thought process through code, especially in the beginning, okay? So this will actually make you better programmers, even if you don't think it is. It will, okay? Switch every 10 minutes or every problem. Honestly, this is up to you and your partner. You can even use two computers if you want. It doesn't matter. You guys will find your own system, okay? At Fullstack, in the actual bootcamp and in bootcamp prep, you will switch partners every workshop, okay? We want people to work with everybody else. We don't want people to have multiple partners. Sometimes people are absent, so you might be stuck with the same person again. Whatever, it's fine. Any questions on pair programming? Am I going a little too fast for you guys? Is it okay? I'm just trying to explain to you like how the program works, okay? and you can ask me questions about the actual program, the application process, my experience through it, from now until I'm gone. Okay, like you have all 3 weeks to do that. Okay, so don't if you thought you had a question, you can't figure it out. Don't worry about it. I'll be here for a while. So why do we use pair programming if you can just do it on your own, right? So a lot of you are probably like, I hate group projects. Group projects suck. Because group projects do suck. Because you have to rely on other people that you don't know. You don't like other people, right? But pair programming is actually awesome, okay? Because teaching to learn is actually a very good way of learning, okay? If you, let's say I'm explaining to you a concept, and then you think, okay, yeah, I got it. But like, do you really get it? Do you get it enough that you could tell it to somebody else? You might find that that's not the case. So in this way, when you explain something to somebody, you explain something that they don't get, you might find that you don't understand it yourself. And then you'll question yourself, and you'll work together to figure it out. It's very, very effective, okay? Communicating about code is just as important, if not more important, than actually writing about it. Let me explain this to you. Think about it. You're on the job. You guys all got through Fullstack, and now all of you work at Google together in the same office. Everyone here is the same, okay? And what are you going to be doing there? You're not going to be working by yourself in the corner in like the dark. You're going to be working on a team of engineers, okay? So if you're trying to like commit some code into the greater application that you're making, and somebody's like, why did you do that? This is wrong. This isn't right. You have to communicate. You have to like say, you have to explain your thinking. You have to explain why this is correct. Otherwise, things happen and things slip through the cracks, and then, everything goes bad. Coding is a very, very big team collective effort, okay? Does that make sense? Nice. Also, solving problems with a partner is the best way to prepare for an admissions interview at a top bootcamp. Well, not only at a top bootcamp, also at a company, okay? When you guys are done with the bootcamp, if you decide to go through it, when you're done with the bootcamp and you're looking for jobs, you will guys have to go through technical interviews, and they suck. They are terrible. You have to go in and meet with like 2 or maybe 3 people, and they give you problems, and then you just have to code and solve them in front of them. Now, most of these people are not fully expecting you to solve the problem, but they want to see how you interact with them, how you bounce ideas off of them. Because the main goal is to get the right answer, not if you can get the right answer. It's to get the right answer, right? So you have to be proactive, show that you're a team player, and communicate yourself in a good way. And then that is how you pass the interview, right? Well, it's a part of it. Does that make sense? Most top bootcamps and growing number of employers use pair programming every day. True. Okay? Any questions on pair programming? Cool. So now we're going to do an icebreaker. Everyone likes icebreakers, right? So you will stand up, you will say your name, you will say where you're from, you will say why you decided to come here, and you will say an interesting fact about yourself if you have time to think of it, okay? I will go first. Hi, my name is Marco.
Hi.
I am from Wilson Park, Long Island. I'm here because I'm teaching this class. An interesting fact about me is that I used to be in plays in high school. You can take some. We will start here.
Okay. Hello everyone. My Chinese name is Yun Shu Xiao, and you can call me Bella when we do pairs work. I just quit my last job and I decided to be an women tech engineer, software engineer in the future. So I come to this bootcamp and decide to apply the group's Grace Hopper program after this bootcamp.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, my name's Eugene. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm here because I hated every job I've had so far. So career change, same thing, like retail, service industries.
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting fact, don't judge me, I have 4 cats.
Flip yourself.
Hi, I'm Nora. I live in New York, but I'm from right outside of Philadelphia. I'm here because I wanted a career change. I used to work at the operations side of tech, and now I want to go to the back end stuff. And I don't really have any stats about me.
I appreciate the effort.
Hi, my name is Mari. I currently live in New York. I moved here from Israel 2 years ago. Why am I here? I want something different. And I like coding, so it's a good path. Interesting fact about me, I was in the Israeli army. I did for 2 years.
Hello, I'm Susan. I'm originally from Nashville, but I live in New York. And I just wanted a career change, and I like to bike.
Hi everyone, my name is Bella. I'm from Russia. I came here 2 years ago. Why I'm here? Because I work as a customer service person and I don't really like it, so I want to change it.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica. So I'm from Thailand. I come here around 1 year. So for why I'm come here because I want to change my career. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, my name is Janelle. I come here, Sam really wanted to do coding stuff. My friends, she just graduated here.
Oh, nice,
She's
cool.
Larina home. She work in the blue room.
Oh, cool, nice.
Yeah, so I really want to try something. Thank you.
Nice.
Hi everyone, my name is Pravina. I'm from Jamaica, Queens, New York. Really, I'm here to see how hard I'm gonna fail because I want to take the flex program, like in addition to my full-time job. So I figured if I can't handle 3 weeks of this, then I can't handle the actual boot camp. So yeah, and there's nothing interesting about this.
Don't say that.
My name is Natalie. I'm doing this because it seemed like fun. And an interesting fact about me, well, I'm from Brooklyn also. An interesting fact about me is my name was misspelled when I was born, hence Natalie, not Natalie, and they know what she was doing.
Yeah, that's crazy. Cool.
Hi, my name is Darren. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm looking for a career change and I'll learn more about web development. Before this, I spent 5 years in the accounting field.
Nice.
Hi, my name is Kareem. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm also looking for a career change. I'm in AR, accounting as well. And I'm interested. I eat Hot Pockets twice a week.
You're still here, nice.
Hi, my name is Julia. I'm from Olney, Maryland, and I currently work in customer service at a tech company, so I'm trying to switch into engineering at the same company. And I like to dance.
Hi, my name is Isabel. I live in Brooklyn currently, and I'm in a career transition. I worked in finance for 7 years, and I want to move into fintech. And something interesting about me is I speak Spanish and Portuguese.
Hi, my name is Nadia. I'm from Jersey. I'm here because I work for MC in HR, and a few of my engineering friends told me to check out coding. So we'll see how we do here and apply for this cover. And an interesting fact about me, I ate ramen a lot. And I went to the hospital for having too much like fake salt or potassium. And that's the
Hi, I'm Sarah, and my post. I'm here for preparation.
Yes, ma'am. Take a seat wherever you want.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Linda. I'm currently a high school teacher. I have an affinity for audio programming, and I'm here to learn coding in hopes to maybe work for Serato one day. And an interesting fact about me, I'm also a DJ on the weekends.
Are you like a famous DJ?
Hi, my name is Dan. I'm from Floral Park, New York originally, which is
Yeah,
close
from
to
New
where
York,
you're from, yeah. I'm here for career change, and before this, I was a bartender.
Nice.
Hello everyone, my name is Noel Muhammad. I'm actually originally from Nepal, so I've been living in Queens for about 9 years now. And I did not like my job, obviously. So I wanted to, so I wanted to do a career change, and I was just introduced to this program by one of my brothers about a month back. So I thought maybe I'd try something new, maybe learn. So I'm totally new at this, so please don't be annoyed if I'm working with one of you guys. So that's it.
My name's Jack. I'm originally from Connecticut. I live in New York now. I'm here because I'm interested in product development. I want to learn some more. And an interesting fact about me is I used to live in Los Angeles and moved back 2 months ago.
Hi guys, my name's Vicky. I live in Brooklyn. I'm originally from Taiwan. I'm here because I taught high school. I really like teaching, but I also want to try something new. Interesting fact about myself: I speak 3 languages: Spanish, English, and Mandarin.
I'm Mary. I'm originally from Cambridge, Massachusetts. I live in Brooklyn. I'm here because I want to change my career, and I recently realized it's a kind of interesting fact that I worked in like every art field. So.
Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm from northern New Jersey. I have a hell of a commute home after this. Why I'm here, so I have kind of an interesting story why I'm here. I actually did a boot camp like back when it was like just starting out, like in like 2013.
Before it was cool?
Yeah, before it was cool. I was one of those guys. It was Dev Boot Camp. It's now defunct. It actually started around here.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, it was like considered like one of the first ones, but I think because of that, they didn't really have that much structure.
Yeah.
And tech has been a field that I've been trying to get into for years now, and like teaching myself. And I just realized I missed that structure. And that's why I'm back here. Nice. Interesting fact about myself: I don't know if this is the right word, chronic learner. I like whatever piques my interest. I end up doing. So like I'm pretty into ceramics, woodworking, and like dog training. I just picked up like the other day. So like yeah, just whatever piques my interest. I just kind of like to learn stuff.
Cool. Awesome. See, that wasn't so bad, right? Fine. I just want to comment on one thing. The Flex program. Flex, I don't know anybody personally who did Flex, but Flex is dope, okay? They have good numbers. Most of the people that go through Flex are more professional because they have jobs that they don't want to leave, whereas the immersive program are filled with people like me, you know? So, but I don't think measuring your success here, you should think like, oh, if I can't do this, I can't do Flex. Because Flex is different. Flex is doubly as long as the regular bootcamp. It's 6 months, and it's only 2 days a week. But it is a lot of self-study. Just want to let you guys know. But Flex is awesome. Just saying. Cool. Hope this is still, yeah. All right, cool. All right, so back to what we're doing this course. So there are going to be 2 projects. 2 projects. And they're completely optional. I don't care if you do them. I'm just kidding. I actually do care. I think it's a good idea for you to do both projects. You don't have to, though, if you're swamped, you know, because this is, you don't have a lot of time. I mean, you don't have allotted time during class to do these projects, okay? This is all on your own, but I really, really recommend doing them. Any practice is good practice, okay?
Any practice is good practice. It's 100% optional. It's a good opportunity to use what you're learning to build larger programs, okay? And we'll talk about them later. Practice assessments. Okay, so practice assessments are meant to help you prepare for the real admissions assessment. And you get a risk-free assessment that will be available to you after you finish the bootcamp. Let me explain this to you now, and then the day before the assessment, you will all forget what I say, and then you will ask Robin to explain it to you again. Well, let me explain it to you now, first, okay? So, you guys are going to have 2 practice assessments. The first practice assessment means nothing, okay? If you do amazing or if you do poorly, Fullstack doesn't look at it. They don't care. The first practice assessment is for you because it will be on a different website, on a different platform than what you will be using for your workshop. So we want you to familiarize yourselves with that. Also, there'll be a timer. It'll be like 75 minutes or something. So that could be like a little bit of a shock to you guys. It'll be a little stressful. It'll get you familiar with that kind of environment, right? And it'll be new problems, okay? And it'll be helpful to see where you need to study. Then, that's given to you in class on the last day. Then, after bootcamp prep is done, there will be practice assessment 2, okay? That I honestly, I can't remember. I think it's like you get like 6 days or something to do that one on your own time. That one, if you do poorly, nothing happens. But if you do well, if you do well on that, you will just move along in the application process and you will go on to the second interview, which is an over-the-computer coding challenge with a person that works here, okay? Which isn't that bad, okay? Any questions? And if you fail that one, if you fail the practice assessment 2, I said nothing bad happens, and that's true. But then you go onto Fullstack's website and apply regularly, okay? That one, if you fail that one, I think you gotta wait a little bit to apply or something like that. Yeah.
Is it the same assessment for Fullstack and Grace Hopper?
I always get this question. I think, yeah, it's the same assessment. I can't remember like where along the lines during the application process you would have to pick if you're eligible for Grace Hopper. Grace Hopper is only for women. If you are eligible for Grace Hopper, I think you could pick like which one you're applying to, I think, or which one you would prefer. I can't really remember, but it's somewhere along the lines. If you do get fused and you don't get your questions after you take the second practice assessment, definitely email admissions, okay? Any other questions? Cool. Attendance. Don't worry about it, okay? When you I know there's like a refund thing, but like when you sign in to learn.fullstackacademy.com on this Wi-Fi, it will automatically mark you here, okay? However, it's a little buggy. So if you get an email that says, hey, you weren't here this day and that day, let me know. And I will just mark you here. It's fine, okay? But like, that's how attendance works. If you come here and you sign in, you're here. If you're not here, if you can't make it to a class, it's fine. Just let me know. It's not a big deal, okay? Also, I understand that this is like, it's every day from 6:40 to 9:40, whatever, okay? If you can't stay here the whole time, like you have to leave after the lecture, you can't stay for the workshop, that's fine too. I would really rather prefer if you stayed because it's better. It's better for everybody. It's better for you. But if you can't, just let me know. Like, it's fine, okay? Cool. So we have some community values. Be patient, not only with other people, but with yourselves, okay? I expect everybody to be patient with other people because not everybody is you. Not everybody's as a genius as you are, okay? Other people struggle sometimes, all right? So be patient with them. But if you can't get something and your partner can, don't like beat yourself up about it, okay? That's the worst thing that you could do. Just take a deep breath and like figure it out, Ask as many questions as you can. Ask me questions, ask your partner questions, stand up and scream questions, okay? It doesn't matter. Just ask them. As long as you ask them, the only thing that I can say is the answer or I don't know, okay? And then I'll look it up and then I'll figure it out with you, okay? We're in it together. Your questions will be answered.
No question is dumb, okay? If you just say, I'm not going to ask this question, this is a dumb question, and then you never get that question answered, but that question is actually really important and it like kind of builds up on everything else, then it's only hindering your own success, okay? So just ask questions, even if you think they're dumb. Trust the process and be on time. Be on time, please. If you're not on time, I'm okay with you just walking in here, but like, whatever, I don't know, it's fine. Be on time. Trust the process. If you feel like you're not understanding anything, make it through the end. Don't quit. Don't quit, seriously. If you think this isn't for you, because you think you won't understand it, don't quit. Wait until the end, okay? For me, it took a little bit for things to settle in. I didn't do bootcamp prep, but like, I'm talking about the actual bootcamp. Everything didn't click for me, okay? Things got really complicated. But everything clicked eventually. And when it clicks, it feels really nice. So if you get discouraged, don't stop coming, okay? And I'll help you. I'll help you through the worst. So just I gotta say this stuff. I expect all of you people to be decent human beings and respect each other. Just be wary of subtle isms like sexism and racism and ageism. Don't be sexist and don't be racist, okay? I'm serious. Be professional. There's a no asshole policy. Just be like a regular person, you know? Just be mindful of everybody. Not everybody comes from the same place you do, so just be mindful of like other people's origins. I don't know, you know? Because honestly, you guys are each other's most valuable resource, okay? You guys are gonna be in this shit together, you know? You're gonna be going through it. So be friendly. If it's not suitable for work, just don't do it here. I don't know, whatever. I feel like you guys are adults and I don't have to babysat you through this, okay? So, why JavaScript? So we will be teaching JavaScript because it's the most popular language in the world. So says Fullstack. So the Fullstack and Grace Hopper curriculum encompasses these things: JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and SQL, okay? SQL. Really, we'll be focusing on JavaScript, but HTML and CSS won't be really taught to you, but you will just kind of have to learn this event. Yeah.
Do you eventually move into React or Angular?
React, not Angular. React is a framework around JavaScript that is used for front-end technology. If you don't understand what I just said, don't worry, you don't need to know it for this class. But if you do know what I'm talking about, we will be doing React and not Angular. So Ruby is also great for beginners, but it's it's less used, which is true. Yeah. Why is JavaScript so popular? Most web applications are actually built on JavaScript, you know? There's a Atwood's law, anything that can be written in JavaScript will eventually be written in JavaScript, and it runs almost anywhere on the full stack, web browsers and servers, okay? And it is learner friendly. So that's why we teach it. Any questions? Yeah.
What language do you use at your job?
JavaScript.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use JavaScript. I mean, see the thing is, we're going to be learning JavaScript here. You're going to be learning JavaScript in the bootcamp. Okay? When you get your first job, you might not be doing JavaScript. You might be doing something completely different. Like, when you guys are as good as you are at JavaScript, you will all of a sudden see that learning a different language isn't too hard. Okay? So don't stress about that. If that's on the back of your mind or something. Okay? So there's this thing ES6 or ES Next, ES5. What are these things? So ES5 and ES Next are different versions of JavaScript. Okay, when I'm going to be coding live, I will only be using ES Next, pretty much. Okay, ES6. So it's just like there's just some things that are new, like instead of declaring a function with the function keyword, I can do this. This is a function. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. I'll show you guys that in a second. JavaScript versions are backwards compatible. Older features work in the newer environments. However, newer features may not work in older places. Okay, this is sort of a problem. But Fullstack teaches ES Next. Okay, immersive programs continuously are updated to cover the latest JavaScript features. And the Bootcamp Prep program covers some new features too, but only those that are helpful for beginning developers.
Don't expect in-depth or comprehensive coverage of new JavaScript features in this course. Teaching you the basics here, okay? The bare minimum. Not really, but like a little extra, obviously. But don't expect like deep knowledge to the actual like understandings of the language, okay? Any questions? Yeah.
Is ES next ES6?
Yeah.
Okay.
I say ES. I don't know anybody who says ES next. I should just change the slide, honestly.
It's a different slide on the.
Oh yeah? I'll change the slide for my next cohort after you guys are done. Okay, so here's an important slide. How to get the most out of this course. Complete the pre-work curriculum first. Like, yeah, I know. If it's optional, you don't have to do that. But like, if you wanted the most out of the course, I would definitely recommend watching those videos, okay? Do the pre-readings. Oh, no, wait. Oh, this is different. This is the thing that you're supposed to do before here. I hope you guys did that. If not, you still have time. Like, do whatever. Do the pre-readings and watch the pre-recorded lectures. Like I said, if you don't have time, it's fine, but I really recommend doing it. Enjoy the productive struggle. This is going to be hard. Try to enjoy the fact that you're facing a difficult task that can completely alter your life in a really big way. That actually got me through a little bit of like mental breakdowns during the actual boot camp. Like it's okay. I'm changing my life about this, It's gonna be tough. Maybe not that tough here as opposed to the boot camp, but this is still gonna be tough if this is new for you, okay? That's fine, and that's normal. So don't think you're weird or like not good enough, okay? It's fine. Try to enjoy the struggle. Just laugh it off, Ask for help when you need it. Otherwise, why are you here? Ask your partner. Ask someone else's partner. Ask me. Type it in the thing. A fellow will come. Ask the fellow, okay? Don't look at solutions until you give problems an honest try. Obviously, yeah, you could just sit here and do nothing and then wait for the solutions and copy and paste. But why would you do that, What is the point of that? I don't know. Go back to unfinished workshop problems and finish them when time permits. Definitely. If you have time and you didn't get to some problems, do those problems before looking at the solutions. Do those problems, okay? Also, if you did everything and you have a weekend, do all of those problems again. Delete your previous work and just do them again, okay? That is how you will get better, okay? Redoing, repetition, practice, okay? Experience. Watch the solution videos, even for problems you think you got right. That is also true. Maybe the person giving the videos will tell you something, will say like a little 2-second thing that you didn't know that makes everything more clear, Watch the videos even if you thought it was an easy problem, okay? And review the solution code. Any questions?
Are the facilities open for students on weekends, and will there be teaching fellows on weekends to help you out, or is it kind of?
There definitely won't be teaching fellows to help you out, and I'm not sure if you guys are allowed here on weekends. You guys specifically for this class. I can get back to you.
Okay.
I can ask around and see if it's okay. But as for the weekends, you guys, if you're at home or here, I don't know. I don't think you're allowed to be here, but I'll find out for you. If you're at home though and working, and you have and you're in a hole, just send a message to me on Slack, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Okay? Seriously, it's fine. You can Slack me from now until whenever you want. I don't care. All right? Sometimes I'm really bored at work, and I will answer your questions. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about tidy code. So, tidy code. Do all of you know what a function is? Cool. So I'm going to write a function. This
this is a valid function. If I run this code, it outputs hello world. Can everybody see? However, this is abysmal. This is hard to read. What if I put in here it's the same thing. Oh, geez. See? It's the same thing. However, it's even harder to read, you know? But it's kind of doing the same thing as it was before. I still got hello world on the console. That's because this isn't tidy. And as you just saw, I just faced an error in the console, right? That's because it was hard for me to see what was going on. I didn't realize I was missing an extra parenthesis over here, an extra curly brace, okay? So tidy code is simple. Space, enter. Space, space, enter. Enter, enter. Backspace. Backspace. Backspace, my bad. Okay. So, this is a function. This is a function block. The block is everything that's inside of the curly brace, okay? So, everything that's inside of here, like this is the function, this is its name, you have to put this parenthesis here, these open close parentheses, no matter if there's anything in them or not, and then you open this up. Everything underneath there is inside of this function. So, everything underneath here is tabbed over once. Everything underneath there is tabbed over once, okay? Then we have an if statement. Ifs also have blocks in them. You can think of blocks as anything with the curly brace, okay? So if, oh Jesus. If true, we do this, okay? What we do inside the block is tabbed over once from the if. Then everything inside of this if statement, this is also called a conditional, because it's up to this conditional. If I did false, this wouldn't run. Because you're saying if false. Well, false is false. False is wrong, right? False is not truthy, okay? Then we do whatever's in here. However, I want that to happen, so I say if true. True, yes, we do what's in here. If statements, whatever goes inside of the conditional expression, inside of the if statement, if that thing evaluates true, everything inside of it will run. That code block will run, okay? So, but back to tidy code, inside the block, tabbed over once, okay? Then the closing curly brace will be in line with where that thing started. You see how the closing curly brace, is in line with the if. And this closing curly brace is in line with the function, right? This is easy, right? This is easy to understand, right? Maybe not if you don't really know what functions are and if statements are, but if blocks are defined by these curly braces, okay? So once you see an open one, everything underneath there will just be tabbed over ones, okay? Try not to put like a bunch of spaces in between things because like why would you do that? What's wrong with you? Don't do that, you know? If you want one, that's fine too. I personally don't unless this is going to be like 50 lines of code or something. Then I'll like separate this a little bit. But I leave no spaces. I have my tabs. This is tidy code. Let me tell you something really quick about ES6. So, some of you, I'm going to write this hello world function again. Some of you might, so there's these things called variables, right? And some of you might be used to defining variables using the var keyword. Never use the var keyword. Don't do it, okay? Please, if I see a var keyword, you're not getting into full, no, I'm just kidding. Just don't do it, okay? Use let, all right? Let hello world. This is going to be the name of my variable, and it's going to be equal to, open close parentheses, fat arrow. Fat arrow is an equal sign and a greater than sign. Okay? And then the same thing, the same thing as before. The curly brace, open close. Like that. This is the same thing as before. And here, if true, console.log, nope. If I have a typo on the screen and you guys see it, just yell at me, okay? It'll save us a lot of time. But as you can see, this is the same function, right? It does the same thing, except I wrote it a little differently, okay? I will usually write my functions like this. However, what if I said down here, hello world is now going to be equal to hello world. This is a string. Anything in quotes, and you type some things in there, that is one string, okay? So now I'm saying, hello world, I defined it up here as this function, right? But now I'm saying I'm reassigning it to the string. But what happens when I call it here? You can only call functions, right? So this is going to give us a crazy error, you know? And it says, hello world is not a function. See, if you're writing like 1,000 lines of code and you by accidentally reassign something that was a function into something else by accident, this could be a huge problem, right? So, what if we did const? There should be a different image. It says type error, assignment to constant variable. Const can be used like let to declare variables, you know? Type a word out and assign a value to that. However, if you use the word const, that thing can no longer ever be reassigned to something else. So, if you ever use fat arrows like this, ES6, to define functions, I recommend always using const, because it'll be very rare that you would want to reassign your function, because functions are rather important, okay? So, you might be thinking, now that you see that, well, I'll leave this const, and I'll comment this out. So now everything works again. Now you might be thinking, why did I... Oh, are you kidding me? This doesn't clear automatically? All right, whatever. So now you might be thinking, why did I call this variable hello world like this? Why wouldn't I call it hello world like this? This is wrong, you know? Because variables need to be continuous. You know, a space is an incorrect character in naming a variable. There can't be any spaces in any names, okay? JavaScript is saying constant hello, and then it expects this to be assigned to something, but it just sees this random word world, you know? So, like, this will be an error, right? And usually, if you're doing this in REPL, this is REPL, by the way, REPL.it is a good way to just mess around with things, okay? Because you have your code here and your output here, okay? Just saying. I will also be posting my REPLs, like, in the Slack channel when I'm done. Anyway, so here, it's underlined red. Most code editors will do this for you, you know? They'll be underlined red or yellow if there's a warning or a crucial error, you know? And you'll be like, what am I doing, you know? So, but why don't I do it like this? Or like this? Or like this? It's because JavaScript naming convention follows camel case. Camel case means the first letter of the word will be lowercase. However, if you're naming something, which is, because this is for humans to read, right? Computers don't care what it's called. They care about what the value is, you know? This is for humans to read. So it's easier for humans to decipher this by capitalizing the second word, seeing that there is another word inside of there, you know? Instead of one long string of lowercase words,
you can have the camel case, you know, so you can see, is it easy for you to decipher because it can't have any spaces. Does that make sense? Any questions so far about any code I've written up until this point? Yeah.
So I understand why you want us to use const, but I don't understand what's bad about var. I just know we can't use it.
Yeah. I'll get into why var is bad on Thursday. It's kind of like a bigger issue than that. I'll let you know. Yeah.
When you start writing functions, do you care which one you're writing?
No, I don't. You can do whatever you want, whatever you're more comfortable with. I really do not care.
Okay.
However, just know that there are two ways. I want you to be comfortable with both ways. Maybe try and experiment sometimes. Use one way than the other way, you know? Honestly, the only difference is just this block, right? Just line 11. Just line 11 is different, right? Than this. Than line 5. That's the only real difference. Well, there's actually a deeper difference, but I don't want to tell you about it right now. Okay? Did you have a question?
What does the equal greater than sign mean?
So this is ES next, ES6. This is a fat arrow. This actually, like, tells JavaScript that you are now writing a function. It's not like greater or equal then, okay? It's just like, it just looks like an arrow, so call it an arrow. This is a fat arrow, and it's for functions. Yeah.
Is there a place that you can put a semicolon? Because I feel like every block I see in the videos, they have one.
Semicolons
Are bad too.
are optional.
Oh, are they really?
Okay, shh. I hate semicolons, so I never read them. However, you put semicolons at the end of like statements, you know? Like here, console.log hello world, semicolon. I don't think you put it here. See, I don't really know, honestly. But like, if you put it here, is this a problem? No. If you put it here, is this a problem? No. If you put it here, this is definitely a problem. No. What about here? This is a problem. Sometimes they cause problems, honestly. Like, but they're used to like signal like where like your code is ending, you know? Like where a statement is done. Console.log done. If statement done, function done. At least that's my understanding. So if you want to use semicolons, Godspeed, do it, you know? Just don't expect them when I type. Any other questions? Yeah.
Is this exercise to showcase proper formatting?
Yes.
And just naming conventions?
100%.
And not so much the actual function, that function itself.
Are you confused by the function?
No, I'm not. I'm just
It's more for formatting.
for formatting, right?
Yeah. Is anybody confused by the function? I will go over it if you want. Okay. I also want to just say something really quick. Console logging only prints something over here. Console logging is just for humans. Okay? Usually, when you run functions, you throw something into them, and then you expect to get something out of it, like a value. If you just console log the value at the end of your function, your program can't do anything with that value. All it is printed in the terminal. Okay? You will understand this more during tomorrow's workshop. Today is a little easier, but I just wanted to say that, okay? I'll say it again tomorrow, without a doubt. Any other questions? Cool. Let me go back to this. Today's really easy. Like, the workshop's going to be easy, and then once you guys are done, you can go home. Isn't that nice? Because you'll probably be done a little early.
tomorrow you probably won't be done early. Why write tidy code? It's easier and faster to debug and read your code. I already showed you a live example of how I couldn't debug my own code because of how terribly it was written in one line, right? Why would I ever do that? Okay? Now, one line, a function written in one line is a very extreme example, okay? But like, if things just are tabbed over to the left when they should be over there, it's like a mess. It's actually a mess, and it's hard to read. So if there's a problem with your code, and it's really hard to read, I'm going to be really annoyed that I have to work with you, you know? Seriously, like think about it. Think if you write the tidiest code ever, and then your partner's over there like with this crazy code. Like you don't want to deal with that. It's annoying. So make yourself easy. Make your own life easier as well as your partner's life easier, and write tidy code with proper indentation. Okay? It demonstrates qualities attractive to bootcamps and employers. If you go to apply to a job, forget about a bootcamp. If you apply to a job and you write untidy code, they're just going to tell you to leave. You know, it's not professional. It's not. It's like imagine like applying to be an English teacher and you just don't use periods.
Like semicolons.
Yeah. I got the job, bro. So, indentation. Indent one line inside every code block, okay? Code blocks start with a open curly brace, a leftwards facing curly brace, and end with a that way facing curly brace, okay? So function, amazing function, inside the function block. If true, inside the if block. Console.log, this function is amazing. Close it, outside the if block, close it, outside the function block. Does everybody understand why it's written like this? Does everyone understand?
It's convenient other programmer to write your code.
Yeah, but do you understand like why this is indented? And why this is indented? It's because they're in function blocks and an if block, right? If you're inside the block, it gets tabbed over once. Okay? This is simple, right? Like stop wasting time on this, keep going, right? Yeah. So when you call the function down there, you got this function is amazing because of this console log statement here. Cool? So variable naming. Use camel case when defining variable names. Let my favorite place equal a string full stack. Don't use ambiguous variable names. Let x equal 68. Use names that describe the value they contain. Let current temp equal 68, the current temperature. It's okay to use short variable names as counters like I in a for loop. We will talk about for loops tomorrow. This is a for loop. Okay? Don't worry about this code block down here. But look here. Let my favorite place. Do you see the camel case? You see how this is easy to read? My favorite place, right? If you have a bunch of like let X, let Y, let J, let K, let all these like letters all over your thing, even you will forget what they are being used for. Make the variable name something readable that describes the value it's holding, okay? Variable naming is only for humans. It's only for humans. Your computer doesn't care. It doesn't understand English, okay? It just cares about what this value is. A brief like go over of what's going down over here. This for loop will run this thing inside of its own block again and again until I is no longer less than or equal to 3. And at the end of every time, I will be incremented by 1, and I is initially 1 on a very low level. Well, high level. On a very high level. That's what's going on here. And then you can see console.log I is different every time. 1, 2, 3. We'll go more over for loops tomorrow. I highly recommend watching the pre-recorded lecture on loops tomorrow. Tomorrow's workshop is a little tough. Okay? Any questions? Cool. That's it. So everybody take a 5-minute break, unless there are any other questions.
5 minutes. I will slack out pairs. You will stand up. You will scream your partner's name, and then you will find your partner, and then you will do it together. Okay? I'll get to it. Take 5 minutes. We'll get back to it. Okay? Good job, guys.